The King of Fighters is one of those games that everyone's heard of, but very few can actually explain it. Or at least explain it well, I should probably say. I'm not having a pop when I'm saying that. It's practically by design. The game was conceived by developers SNK as a way to pull in popular characters from their fan favourite franchises and have them all fight it out in big tournaments. There's no real explanation, just whatever worked to get them there really. Pick a character or two, pit them against each other and watch what happens. That's all it needed to be, big, flashy and fun. Phil, well, it kind of ignores that and tries to make sense of it all. Years of different game backstories and lore explained in 90 minutes, which, well, frankly, was always going to be a tad ambitious. Let's take a look at The King of Fighters. The story of King of Fighters was never the point, and frankly, that's half the fun. The characters from existing franchises were drawn down with a healthy mix of original fighters in a recurring yearly competition which keeps evolving each year. New teams, new faces and shifting alliances, but never a single point of origin. Skipping ahead briefly, Maggie Q, arguably the most recognisable name and face in the film. She plays a character called Mai Shinara. Her character started life in SNK as Fatal Fury, and over the years made appearances in games like Dead or Alive and Street Fighter. There's nothing linear for you to grab hold of in this game, at all. I don't think I've ever sat down to play it and wondered about the motivation of the characters before the fight. All of this, which, well, kind of makes it awkward to make a film from. The film they tried to make from all this goes in the opposite direction. Instead of embracing the chaos, it tries to organise it all. For some reason, it builds on an overcomplicated science fiction based premise, bringing together alternate dimensions, power sources, chosen ones and apocalyptic stakes. Which, I mean, to be fair, they do seem to have at least grasp the chaos concept of it all. The mistake seems to be made in trying to explain it coherently. The tournament itself ends up taking a backseat for the movie. The characters are given a function, a purpose and so on. Most of the fighters are included in the film and reduced in names and costumes, and even some of that's debatable. Again, going back to Maggie Q's character. Mai Shinara is depicted in the film as an undercover CIA operative. She's all about business. The girlfriend of Yuri Yagami. She wears a blue low-cut dress with thigh-high leather boots. In the game, she's a female ninja of the Shwara clan, and she wears a sleeveless red wagi with a decorative waistband. And she's involved with an entirely different character. The personality and rivalries which made the fighters stand out and interested in the game have pretty much gone. If you didn't know them from the games, you're left with very little reason to care. Hell, if you do know them, you still don't care about these versions, very little of them survived. In the film version of The King of Fighters, the tournament isn't just a fighting competition. It's an interdimensional event accessed via Bluetooth headsets tied to ancient relics and a world-ending myth. Which I'm assuming means I had to wait for the invention of Bluetooth before any of this could kick off. Mai, Kaio and Yuri are folded into a dense science fiction heavy plot, which involves cursed bloodlines, CIA cover-ups, alternate dimensions, and, if that wasn't enough, a villain attempting to resurrect the ancient god Uchari to merge realities and gain limitless power, which is quite a long way from the games. And possibly explains why the film needs to spend a lot of time explaining it all, and, I mean, a lot.
Well, I can tell you a little. The Yasakani no Magatama was created by my ancestors almost 2,000 years ago.
I joked earlier about the headsets, but that stuff is actually all accounted for. There is some actual thought here, if nothing else.
Yuri, we're using earpieces. I mean, how does that even happen?
A lot. In the games, the tournament structure is the spine holding everything together. It doesn't stop to explain it. If anything, it expects you to keep up and fill in the blanks. Just pick a team and start fighting. If it works, right? It's a fundamental problem with this whole thing. The game thrives on loose structure and strong identity. The film insists on tight plot and weak characterisation. The game says, here's a ridiculous tournament, pick your favourites. The film says, here's a convoluted mythos, please take this seriously. There's pulling in completely opposite directions. Where the game is colourful and exaggerated, the film is drab and restrained. Because of that, I can't help feeling it's not a coincidence that The King of Fighters was released at the same time as the Chun-Li movie. This, after all, was the time of the gritty reboots, and it's ruined the feel of more than a few other games along the way. Unsurprisingly, it was released straight to DVD, so there aren't any box office numbers as a quote, but if you look at the review sites, then it's probably the best it stayed away. The King of Fighters games are still going strong. There's more of them I could possibly tell you about here, but the main series entry is up to 15 at the time of this video, and there's about 1 million spin-offs. Well, okay, not quite 1 million, but give them time. Adapting the Kings of Fighters game to film was never going to be about lore-ocracy. It needed to be about capturing arcade energy, letting characters clash without over-explaining, embracing the silliness instead of smoothing it out. The film does none of that. Instead, it tries to force coherence to something that was never meant to be tidy, and in doing so, it strips away the very thing that made the game, well, the game. I never like ripping on a film, but well, I'm not going to lie, it's hard not to with this one. It's just not good, even as a standalone film. Like, if you take away anything what's supposed to be, it just makes even less sense. If I had to say something positive about the film, a few of the fight scenes aren't actually horrendous, and despite the grit it tries to install, there is a bit of fan service pad here and there, if that's your thing. You don't need a deep knowledge of the King of Fighters to see what went wrong here, because the film doesn't really understand it either. It adapts the idea of the franchise and names, the faces, iconography, but misses the spirit entirely. It's not just broken, it's fundamentally misguided and utterly disappointing. Anyways, I've been Paul and this has been Pixels Popcorn. If you like this video, then do me a favour and drop a like. Subscribe as well if you want while you're there. Or don't, I'm not going anywhere. I'll catch you on the next rewind. Thanks for watching.